Now, let us learn another unique things in Java. This is about arrays. You may be a little bit confused about that. Okay, we have enough programming efficiency about writing code to deal with array, and we have done it in one of our lecture classes where basically core programming. Then again Java supports. Then sometimes it is a little bit confusing that which you want to use and when and whatever it is there. So, obviously some programmer wants that everything can be from the ground level, that means of their own code. So, they may be one reason that it can be better customized. On the other hand, the idea about Java collection framework is to speed up in your software development effort. So, if you use it, definitely your productivity will increase without knowing about how those things are there. And moreover, the Java collection framework, they claim that their implementation is most efficient or faster. Sometimes there is a need to bridge a gap or bridge the two things together. That means something that is in your core, something that is there in JCF or Java collection framework, to have the two blend together. Now, in order to provide these two blend, Java provides one concept. The name is arrays. It is a plural form. The concept of arrays comes there so that you can handle many concepts. Those are there so far core programming is concerned, as well as the Java collection framework facilities are there. Now, in this lecture we will try to learn the concept of class arrays, which is supported by the Java developer. The class is again defined in java.util package. We will see exactly what are the different methods are there. Now, again you can note that like ArrayList class, there are many methods are defined there in class arrays, but unlike there is no any constructor defined there in arrays. That means you can call the methods, those are there in arrays.class for the class itself. For example, a method m which is defined in arrays. So, if you want to invoke this method, then arrays.m, that is the procedure. Now, we will see exactly the utility of this arrays class and the different operations how you can perform using these arrays. Rather, we can say how we can create arrays from the existing whatever the array that you can maintain or you can create using core programming, or you can create using the JCF array list. Mainly arrays is very much acceptable or very much popular among programmer because of its searching and sorting methods. Now, there are many sorting and searching algorithms have been implemented in this class arrays for any type of data, any type of elements which the arrays can contain, for boolean, for integer, for float, for double, for string, whatever it is there, for regular data type of course, not for user defined data type. If user defined data type if you want to use, then my suggestion is that you should think for core programming, that is more better instead of collection framework there. Anyway, we will discuss about the different operations with this arrays class, sorting, searching, traversal, creating and all these things in this lecture. Now, let us learn about class arrays. As I told you, it is defined in java.util package. It is just defined in this. There is no dependencies that it derives or it implements, like it just simply standalone class one whose super class is object class. Now, it has only static methods, it does not have any other non-static methods, and the methods are all of object class actually. Now, let us see how an arrays method can be accessed. I told you if this method is defined in this arrays class, the static method, like unlike this one, for this class you can declare it. this way. And here T, as basically it is a this basically we can say it is T is there. This method is basically generic method. All this T is applicable to the primitive data type. That is the one important thing that you should note it here. Now let us see some illustration of the different methods of the class arrays. The first method that you can see, list as list, that means if any existing array which you can create using the primitive data type like int or float or char, whatever it is there, and then you can convert this into a collection. So, it is basically conversion of the primitive arrays using the collection arrays. The binary search is an algorithm very popular for searching an element in a collection. So, this method you can do it. Here is the collection you have to send and then the element that needs to be searched. Now, here again this T is any type int, char, long, short, fort, not that object, it is basically regular data type. The copy of, just like this one also, it basically a sublist can be created from a given list and then it can be stored as a collection. So, these are the few important methods, those are there. So far the array collection is concerned. In addition, there are few more methods also. Here are few more methods that you can check quickly. Copy of range, it is basically similar to the copy of a sublist. Equals, it basically check whether two arrays are equals or not. Equals in the sense that they contain same set of elements. Now, deep equals actually within an array. So, nested array if it is there, it can check if an array contains nested array or not. Then fill array, it is basically if we want to copy or make a fill some elements in an array with a value, you can do it. So, filling. So, suppose you want to initialize all the elements by 1. So, it is basically you can call this fill, this array which needs to be initialized by all a default value say 1, it is like this. And also you can do partially fill from a start to end, that also sublist can be filled. Now, these are the sort method by which it can be applied to any type of data in order to sort it, and this second method is basically sorting a sublist, not the entire list needs to be sorted, only a part. Now, it also has a facility to accomplish the parallel execution of sorting. There are many parallel sorting algorithms are there which can be applied to the whole array or is a part array. And this is the one method is basically for traversing an array using split iterator. So, there are many methods like this one, and also it allow you to create a stream or convert an array into a string, all these kind of are there. So, few methods in this case also included here. Now, there are many methods also very much useful where we can apply it. Okay, fine, we can create an array elements to a string elements, also that conversion is possible, and also we can create hash code of each elements. Regarding hash code, we will learn it in details, but just for time being you assume that hash code is a method which basically convert a particular value into another form. So, those things are basically quite common so far the arrays manipulation is concerned. Now, let us have a quick view of different operations with arrays and try to understand its supports to a programmer. Now, this is a very simple example. Now, in order to have access the facility that is defined in arrays, you should import this package, that means this class arrays class, which is defined again java.util. Otherwise, this your program may not run if you invoke, many methods are there. Now, this is a simple program to give an example of how the arrays can be created. Now, let us see what we do it here. we create according to our own way an array of integers. So, we create an array of integers, declare it as a type and initialize this array element, few numbers it is declared here, and here you see this is the one statement that you can check it. So, basically we pass an argument as the name of the array, it is array, that means we pass the whole array into this method as list. What the as list will do? As list will convert this array into a collection. So, this collection is an integer collection. So, it is basically it converts an integer array into a collection. This collection is of type list. Now, the list is a collection after which the array list can be obtained, or you can see or view this list as a array list or any other type of list. Later on we will see how this can be viewed as a linked list or set or tree, whatever it is there. Anyway, so this example explain how from a primitive array like this one, how from a primitive array like this one a list can be created using the method which is defined there. So, arrays dot as list. Now, we should call, although as list is a static method, but it is better to resolve the scope by calling or specifically mentioning this method in your program. That is why arrays dot as list, it is a customary or convention to call all the methods this way. Now, so this example explain how using the arrays method a simple array can be converted into this one. We have given an example for integer, likewise float, string, everything you can call it. Now, this is another example. As you can see, we can convert using the stream method to an integer array into a stream class. So, stream is an important concept, is basically convert into the byte values of the arrays, and byte is many program it required for a faster execution or data transmission. Regarding the stream and everything, we will discuss about the handling different stream, IO stream, byte stream, character stream, all these things. So, for timing we can keep up to this much only. So, it is basically using this stream method in arrays class, we can convert any type of data into a stream class. Now, there is another also, we can convert using the method, they are toString method, which basically convert into a string type. String is another type. Here you can, this is the same program, we create an integer array and then we convert this integer array into string collection. So, is basically all these things will be viewed as a string, and from the string we can convert into integer or any other desirable format if required. And so, this is basically the toString method which is there in the class. It is basically object class defined there, and we can call for it, and then you can see how the elements in a regular array can be converted into string type. Now, deep to string is basically similar to the string only, but if it is a nested array within array and array, you can see it is a basically within array and array, but there is also another sub list of array we can create within this one. So, deep string means it is basically within this string a string can be converted and then another sub list can be string converted and everything. So, this is a deep string method. It is similar to toString, but it is a nested array actually that you can apply. So, we have learned about few methods by which the regular array can be converted into arrays different types, actually different collections of different types. Now, here is another example. This example says how an existing array collection can be made a copy to another collection. Like here in this example, as we see, this is an integer array we declare and loaded with these elements. This basically convert into toString. Now, here I can make a copy of these arrays, and it basically give the length, that means how much size. Now, here although 5, but remaining will be assigned with 0 values. So, the total array will be all these array plus 0 0 0 and all these things. So, it basically copy of these elements and a copy will be created, and this copy will pass to this toString method. That means the entire copy of this class will be there. So, what exactly the net result is that this element will remain intact, a copy of it will be created with 0 elements at the tail end, and then the whole arrays will be converted into toString will be printed. So, this is the one example by which the copy method can be utilized in many occasions. So, this is the example of copy of method. Now, copy of method can be applied to the whole arrays or it can be a part array. This example indicates how the same copy of method can be applied to a part. That means, it basically copy not the whole, but is a sub list of the array. In this case, from 1 to 3 both inclusive, a copy can be applied and then it can be converted to string. The same thing, only the part method, actually part or sub list of a regular array can be copied, and copied can be done using arrays method. Now, there is a method in arrays.class to compare two arrays. Now, whatever be the order of elements, if they contain same elements in both the arrays, if duplicacies are there, they will consider only one occurrence of it and then compare. If they found the two arrays contain the same sets of elements, then it returns true, otherwise it returns false. So, here this is an example. As you can see, the two arrays we have declared, and it is the 2-dimensional array we declare, and using the nesting and whatever it is there, it is basically deep equals. Like deep equals, only equals method can be applied. If it is equals method, then it is better to apply to 1-dimensional array. The deep equals basically or row wise it will check, and then for every row then all column will be checked, and then it will find if the two arrays contain the same. As we see in this case, two arrays are not of equal elements stored in it. So, this definitely returns false, and you can run this program and you can check that how it can decide. You can take some other input here and then run it again, then you can see how it works. So, I should advise you to do many experiments over this simple basic program and see the different results that you can see from the execution of the program. Now, hash code generation, I told you I will discuss in details about hash code concept, but hash code is basically a transformation from one type of value to a particular elements. So, this program given an integer array is a 2-dimensional array, no issue. Now, deep hash code, if it is a 2-dimensional array you should call, otherwise if it is a 1-dimensional array you write hash code only. So, this in this case H and then this one. Okay. So, this is for the simple 1-dimensional array. What if it is the hash code? This means that for every element 10 it will give a hash value, say H1 unique. So, for this also another, for this also another, and so on so on. So, basically if we call this method for these arrays, it will return hash values of all the elements which are there in these arrays. So, this basically is a hash code conversion from a given array. It has many applications. We will discuss about mapping of the different records into tables and everything. So, there we will see how exhaustively the hash code concept is applicable there. Now, inserting an element into an array elements also it is possible. Here is an example. This is an existing arrays of elements, integer numbers, and say 22 is the one value we want to insert. Now, here insertion by means of the method called the fill method. So, it is int array and int key the value that needs to be stored into this array. So, basically it will add this element at the end and duplicacy is allowed. So, 22 is there. So, after 35 it will basically add 22, it is there. So, this is the fill array method that can be there. And one more important thing I should advise you to note it. If you want to print a collection according to the arrays or any elements. So, better that it can be converted, it can be converted into string and then print it. For example, here after adding this 22, entering this value 22 into this array, we can print the entire array using printl statement. You could do int array, this is there also, but better way that it can be converted into a string and then that string resultant string can be passed an argument to this println method to print it. That also you can do. Now, searching and sorting are the two important operations which we can do with the arrays, and here is some example. The binary search is the algorithm which is known as the best algorithm to search for any item in a list, and there is a method defined there, and this method is defined in this arrays class for any type of primitive data like int, boolean, long, short, char, float, double, etc. Now, here this is an example. As you can see, we first create an array of integers and then binary search algorithm require that whatever the elements it is there, it should be first sorted. Now, this is not in sorted order. So, we call a sort method which is there in the arrays class. So, we call first sort method and then sort the array, and once it is sorted there, suppose we want to search 22, then we can call this method binary search to be performed on this array which is sorted now. After this method the elements will be ordered in sorted order, in ascending order, and then this is the key value to be sorted, and then binary search method can be called for this elements and then it will return in which location this element is present. So, this is the one example of the searching method that is there in this arrays. Now, this is a binary search method also can be applied to the search over a sub list. Now, here is an example, as you can see same example, but we have little bit modified. The modification you can see in this call of binary search there. In the previous example, we call this for the entire array, but in this example, we call this binary search method to search the item within this element 1 and 3 both inclusive. So, it basically searching over a sub list if a particular element, in this case int key, is present in the list or not. So, this can be applied to this one. Now, again I should suggest you to test all this program not for on integer type. You can declare is a double or string and then initialize with some element and then search it. You will see you do not have to bother about what type of data that it has to process and how it has to be processed. It will do for you, including byte type, including any other type. Those are the standard built-in data type, but not for user defined data type. You cannot do all these operations for user defined data type. Okay, so this is the searching algorithm. Now, let us come to the sorting with arrays. There are many sort methods, including the parallel sorting and others, which are the speciality in this class. Now, let us see the sort method that can be applied. We have little bit a glimpse of idea about sort method. We have called once we see the binary search here, exactly the same thing, the sort and then the array that has to be sorted. It can be any type, as I told you, it can be any type, either long, float, short or string, whatever it is there. Now, if we call this method, it will sort, that means order of the element, or this element will be replaced in a sorted version of this element. So, this if it is the input, it will give 10, 15, 20, 22, 35 like this one, and this is basically the regular way by which it can be printed. So, this element can be printed. Now, again you can try this sorting method, calling over it the different type of array elements and see the result. Now these are sort. Sort can be performed again on the sublist also, like binary search array. Here is the same composition. You can see here the sorting not for all, only so 0 1. So up to this, right, it will basically sort, and if we apply it, and you will see this is basically 10 35 and it will sort this order. The rest of the part will not be sorted here. For example, if it is 35, it is 10, you will see up to this it will not be sorted, but only this part will be sorted. You can check the program with different input to it and then run this program and see the working of these methods in how it is, it gives output. And parallel sort is just same as sort, but this is an internal mechanism how the sorting can be done. The best idea to see the parallel sort only for few elements, it is not so good, but if you can exercise this program with very large set of data, and then if you can calculate the time of sorting, then you can understand parallel sort gives the fastest output in a smallest time actually. So because of it use the multiple thread to sort it and an efficient way of doing what. So if you want to sort very large set of data and time is an important factor, then you can call the arrays parallel sort method to test it. Now comparator is one method I have already given an idea about while I was discussing array list for user defined data type. Now arrays also can be extended to user defined data type, and here is an example. First let us define one class called student with these constructors and few methods in it, the regular method to print. So here is another method which basically convert the all elements of the class to string for better printing, and again defining this comparator method you check, and here we return. So it basically return either true or false depending on if this is greater than this is. So it is return true or it is false. Now this comparator method is basically needs to be passed while we call a sort method, so that it basically know on which field it to be sorted. In this case we sort on the field roll number where it is an integer type. Now likewise we can call this method for a particular field, because whenever you have to sort a user defined data type, it cannot be perform the sorting on the entire object, it can be perform only sorting based on a particular field in it. So here is roll number for example. Likewise it can be performed into other, in this case address or name, which are the other type of attributes it is there. Okay, so these are the methods that you can consider for sorting, better sorting using comparator method it is discussed, and this is basically demo of the program. Again I should suggest you to create the objects, only here 3, you can create at least 10 objects and then run the program to see how it basically sort. And while we are doing, you see calling the sort method over the array, here we want to sort on the sublist from 1 to 2, and here you pass the comparator method which we have discussed in the previous slides. In the comparator sort by roll method it is there. So we have defined a method of our own how the comparator can work to sort it, because for sorting comparison operation needs to be defined for some data which is custom type. For regular data integer, number or everything not an issue, but for others it is really an issue. Now traversing arrays, it is basically same, there are different method of traversing. This example use one split iterator which is declared in the collection object. You just call it, it will see how one by one this will print for this array for you. So there are many iterator methods are there which we will discuss not now actually, because this is an advanced topics we will discuss once the all collection, all type of collection, because we are now at the very beginning of discussing about only 2 collection, array list and arrays. There are many more collections. My plan is to discuss these iterators, the different iterators once all collections are covered, then we will be able to have a good view of these iterators later on. So, this is the method by which you can traverse it, and this is the traversal or the sublist also you can do it. For more studies, details about this arrays class, you can consult this link here. This is an important link where all these materials I have used in the slides, including all the slides also you can get it from this link also. And this is just about data structure. You have already have the idea. I hope in the lecture we have discussed the theory of data structures, and regarding this arrays class, a details account of this class you can get it from the Oracle tutorial site. So, this is for the extra material for your studies. My advice again is that you should study all these programs that we have mentioned here. Every lecture videos, at least you can see 10 to 15 programs are there. I could not include much more program because of the time limits. There are few more programs you can find from this the docs oracle.com Java C tutorial files there, and from the given link also you can find many programs. So, my suggestion is that you should download all the programs, test from your own side according to your own speed of understanding. Thanks for your attention.